Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In the series of manual testing tutorials, we are now going to study the basics of manual testing. The first thing that we need to understand before we start with anything, in detail regarding manual testing is what do we mean by testing, and why do we need software testing? Basically, I mean, as everybody understands the term testing, testing refers to the fact that we test something against what is the expected behavior of that thing. The basic necessity of software testing is to make sure that an application is error free and bug free. I mean, it is not behaving in an unexpected way in any situation. And in order to make sure that this working of any software application is smooth enough to be used, testing is very important. So I'll just talk about some real life incidents that just proved how important it was to have software testing in place and done thoroughly and have dedicated people to do that. Was that there was a scanning machine. I wouldn't call it a scanning machine though. It was a machine which was an MRI or CT scan kind of a machine. All right. So the machine was not as well tested as it should have been. And what happened was people who went for checkups and whoever gone through the CT scan through that machine, which was not well tested, a little later they were diagnosed with cancer. And the reason was because there were some radiations that were so harmful for humans, and it was not well tested before, and that gave rise to a lot of people having to sacrifice their death because of that. Or if you take an example of simple airplane software, so if that software is not well designed and suddenly if there is any software failure while the flight is in mid air, then you may not predict how harmful that can be. So those are some real life examples. And then another very basic example that we all use is internet banking. We use different devices and different applications we have for doing money transfers and all. And if there are defects in those softwares, and what if the money from my account is deducted but it doesn't reach to the intended person, in between it is just lost somewhere? Or what if suddenly, without me doing anything from my end, all the money in my account is transferred to some other place, because of some defect or bug? So we have to consider all those things and understand how critical is software testing. And most of the times, we understand that development is obviously very important for any software, but the most critical thing in delivering any product or any project is software testing. So let's understand what do we mean by certain terminologies that we have to understand before we get actual testing started. All right. What do we mean by software? So, software is a collection of computer programs that help us perform different tasks. So, that's one theoretical definition we have for software. In real life, we do have a lot of softwares on our computers, and we'll eventually just go through one by one. So, there are certain different types of softwares. So, system software. There are device drivers, operating systems, servers, and utilities. So, yeah, I mean, very basic example is operating system that we have on our computer systems or on our mobile devices. So, those are basically system softwares. And device drivers. So, whenever we plug in, different devices like printers and all, we use those device drivers. And there are utilities and there are servers and many more. So basic definition of system software is something, they are critical to the systems. They are installed on the system in order to make that system usable for a person. And, it provides an interface for a user to use any system actually. a GUI interface, you can say. Uh, Now we have programming softwares, and examples of programming softwares are compilers, debuggers, and interpreters. So, if you are a programming person already, or if you are familiar with the basics of programming, you may have come across these things. So, basically, these softwares provide an environment for a person to write their scripts, compile the code, and execute that code and get the output. So what's the basic difference between compilers and interpreters? Even though that's not something that we're going to discuss in manual testing in detail. So it's like the compilers and interpreters have only one major difference: is interpreter checks your code line by line, and compiler takes it all at once and compiles the code. So we have programming softwares that let us write code in different languages. So it can be C, and it can be Java, C++, and a lot more. So those are the programming softwares. We have some application softwares. Now, the reason I have not written the list of application softwares, because that list is endless. It I mean, application software basically refer to anything or any application that we in general use, for any purpose. It can be for business, it can be for personal work. For example, if I just take an example of MS Office, that's an application software. Any banking software is an application software. Anything, I mean, any calculation related software, if you have, that's an application software. So, the list is endless, and I'm sure we now understand what do we mean by different types of softwares and what actually softwares are, because that's what eventually we are going to end up testing. So, if you consider the software industry, we come across these two terms a lot. There are products and there are projects. So, what's the major difference between the two? So, I'll just start with project. Uh, Project is a software application that is developed for specific customer requirement, and if a software application is developed for multiple customers, then it's called product. So, to give you an example, if you simply, again, I'll talk about MS Office. So MS Office is a product from Microsoft. I mean, Microsoft Office, because they are not intending a particular customer. They're just developing that, and everybody, who needs to use an Excel or document, Word documents, or PowerPoint or whatever. So all those people download that product and they use it. So it is not intended for a specific customer. It's just, a product that they have developed. On the other hand, if I have a specific client and that business has a certain requirements, say there is a travel agency and who has contacted me to develop an application for online booking of several travel packages that they are offering. I'm going to consider that specific person, and for that specific client, I'm going to develop a software. So that is my project, because I'm not distributing it for, all the customers, and people can simply just download and use it. So it's not intended to be used like that. That's why I would term it as a project and not product. So that's the major difference. Now, we already have heard this term a lot. It is in general, what we have heard about is whatever products in general, I mean, I'm not talking about software products, whatever things we use in our day to day routine, we are concerned about the quality. So what do we mean by quality? Quality is defined as justification of all the customer requirements in a product. So, it's not something that is specific to the product, it's something that is in the customer's mind. So, how do we define quality software? Is that the software should be bug free, it should be delivered on time, it should be within budget, meets requirements and expectations, and maintainable, right? So those are the things. I mean, how bug free that software is, and if it is delivered on time and it's in budget and it meets all the requirements and expectations, and it is easy to maintain. If a software has all these things in place, we can call it as a quality software, right? So, I mean, for ensuring the quality itself, as testers, what we do is we make sure that it is bug free. Also, the amount of time the testers or the QA team takes in order to test the software, the delivery dates are also dependent on that. And of course, if the software meets requirements or not is something critical that the testers have to make sure from their end, that they check all the requirements and the software is in alignment with that. So, we have to make sure that the software is of a good quality. Now, we do come across to a lot of concepts or words like errors and defects and bugs. And I have actually seen a lot of people getting confused and thinking that error and defect is the same thing. But I just want to give a little clarification on that. So, what do we mean by an error? So, any incorrect human action that produces a problem in the system is called an error. Right. So, I mean, what do we mean by this? Is suppose you are on a login page of a website, and if you enter an email address in not correct format, I mean, you are not including the @ symbol, or if you have any, if you include any characters that are not allowed in an email address, that time you are prompted with an error. You'll see an error that says the email address is incorrect. Now, this is not a defect, or it's not a bug, or it's not an issue in a software. It's just an error. It's just the human action is incorrect and the system is capable of handling it. And that is the expected behavior of a system, right? So, we have to make sure that we do not get confused between these terminologies. On the other hand, defect or bug is the deviation from expected behavior to the actual behavior of a system. Now, what can be a defect? If I'm entering an email address, in an incorrect format with all the special characters possible, and if I am not prompted with any error, and if I can proceed with that email address, that I can call as a defect. If there is a requirement from customer that I have to see appropriate error messages if I enter incorrect email addresses. So, instead of getting an error message, what's happening in real scenario is that it's not giving an error message and it is accepting that input. So that's a defect. All right. And on the other hand, what's failure? If in case, you know uh, for from the testing team, if they're not able to identify any issue, and while end user is using that application, and if he comes across that issue and reports that, it's a failure. So that can also be referred to as a production incident, in certain software firms. So, in order to test a software, we have to make sure that we are testing against the requirements that we have. So, analysis of the requirement documents or user stories or whatever we have to understand the requirements, we have to make sure that we test it all. But still, there are times when we have bugs in the software, and the reasons for that are as follows: miscommunication or no communication, software complexity, programming errors, changing requirements, and lack of skilled testers. So the first point is miscommunication or no communication. So whenever the requirements are being discussed, if the understanding of that requirement is not clear from any team, it can be from the development team or the testing team, and they do not communicate to understand what actually are the requirements, and what do we actually need to implement with business analysts or people who give out the requirements to developers for development purpose. If there is this lack or communication gap, it can lead to a buggy software, a software with a lot of bugs inside it. There are some softwares that have a very complex design, and because of that complexity, some issues are introduced. So, like for example, if there are different modules that developers have implemented, and they are just integrating all of that into one, so because of this complex structure of the software, it can be possible that while integrating all of those, there are a lot of bugs introduced in the software. There can be some programming errors in the software, and if the code is not reviewed properly, these errors can cause bugs in the software, and in some situations, those bugs can be identified. Changing requirements. So, what happens in Agile is the requirements keep on changing. So, if the development is in progress already and certain things have been developed, if they get a requirement from client that I have to modify these requirements, and could you please incorporate those changes. So while incorporating all the changes over and over again, there is a possibility that we may have defects, and also lack of skilled testers. So sometimes testers tend to check the software in a very high level manner and not actually validating everything against the requirements. So that situation can lead to buggy software. So that's about it actually. Most of the important things and important terminologies that are related to software testing and manual testing are are discussed in this tutorial. So I think we can meet up in the next tutorial to go ahead and discuss about other different concepts in manual testing. And once we are done understanding all the basic and theoretical part that is very important and critical for manual testing, we can think about some real life scenarios and know and learn how we can write test cases. All right. So I think that's about it for this tutorial. And if you've not subscribed to my channel already, I would recommend please go ahead and do that. And please be please do not hesitate to post out any comments if you have for this tutorial, or if you have any queries, do post it on my channel. Thank you.